Thank you. I'd like to paint a portrait for you, a portrait of a man I'll call John. It's quite possible you'll recognize this fellow, even though he's not famous. John is in his late 30s, still a young man, but he's as set in his ways as any 80-year-old spinster. Handsome, charming, with an impressive gift of gab. People like him instantly. Some culture is also evident. Not only can he quote Shakespeare, but a few of the French poets as well. He comes from decent, middle-class parents who gave him the best education they could afford. That's the good news about John. After this message, I'll complete this fellow's portrait with the bad news. Although this fellow was brought up with natural advantages the average person would envy, John turned out to be a failure in life, and he knows it. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what kept him from ever doing anything with himself, but a few things come to mind. For one thing, he drinks and smokes too much, and when he's drunk, an ugly, cruel temper flares. Although his education cost his parents thousands of dollars, he never did get a diploma. He dabbled at this and that, but never did anything well. Same thing was true with his work. He drifted from one job to the next, sometimes quitting, sometimes getting fired, usually leaving unpleasant memories behind. I know 100 people like John. Perhaps you do too. The one thing they all have in common is that they are their own worst enemies. James M. Barrie said it this way: "What really plays the dickens with us is something in ourselves." All right, how can you control that liability inside and turn it into an asset? You can do it, you know. But make no mistake, it's not easy. It's tough. It takes self-discipline. But it is possible. First, you must decide unswervingly to make the transition. You've got to want with all your heart to turn that liability into an asset. Second, you've got to figure out exactly what it is within yourself that's preventing you from becoming the person you want to be. And this requires extraordinary honesty and extraordinary clear thinking. Third, once you've pinpointed the trouble spot, consider it a luxury you're going to have to dispense with. This takes willpower. By concentrating on the kind of person you want to be, by acting out this new role so that you actually become this new person, and it gets easier as you go along. Remember this: you can become strongest in your weakest place. If you take two pieces of a broken metal object and weld them together, the object might break again under stress, but it won't break on the weld, because that's where the metal has become most resistant.